My name is Camille Santa Fe. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs, and I am representing the Ontario Center of Excellence for Child and Youth Mental Health. Today we'll be talking about the pillars of youth peer support. We'll be watching a series of videos, and then we'll have an open spec technology in which we will brainstorm and also share with each other some perspectives and ideas. Um, as Haruka has shared the information of the layout of the platform, we hope that this is as education as possible to all of you. Please feel free to ask questions at any point. And before we continue this session, I would like to recognize that as the Ontario Center of Excellence, we recognize the history, the strength, and diversity of Canada's First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities. We also are committed to engaging respectfully with Indigenous children, young people, and families within across nations in what is known to Ontario. The city that I'm standing right now located as I work, live, and study is the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin people. Um, if you are aware of where you are located um, and the traditional territory in which you are situated, please feel free to share it with the chat and others. And if you don't know this information, I'll invite you to search around, as this is important to acknowledge um, where we stand and as well the partnership that we establish with others around us. About the Ontario Center of Excellence, I would just like to quickly give an overview of the center. So the center is a third-party um, organization that is funded by the provincial commitment to support child and youth mental health agencies across the province in implementing high-quality child uh, youth mental health services to ensure the best outcomes for children, youth, and families. We do this by working together with young people and families as stakeholders and cross-sectorial partners to mobilize evidence and generate knowledge in key areas such as child and youth mental health, as you can see in this slide, for age ranges between 0 to up to 25 years old. The focus areas are primary care pathways, youth and family engagement, digital e-mental health, and system initiatives. If you do have any questions related to this, please let me know and I'll be happy to follow up later. So as we move, today's objectives for this presentation is to provide an overview of peer support, share together the key ingredients of youth peer support, what it is and what it isn't, and learn how to support your friends, family, or other young people or peers in their journey. Um, sorry. Um, in a little bit, we're gonna see a video.
Alright, I'm going to switch over to the video screen. Let me know if any of you have challenges seeing the screen.
Peer support is a unique way to support someone. It's all about connecting with another person, showing empathy, and sharing lived experiences. It involves reflecting on your own experiences and using them to support the well-being of another person, as they define it. Some models of peer support, such as Alcoholics Anonymous, which is a peer support group, have been around for a while, but the peer support movement really took shape in the 1970s, and today it's becoming more and more popular in the world of mental health services. Peer support is different from traditional, more clinical forms of help, such as that offered by professionals like psychologists or doctors, which tend to be more one-directional, where the professional in the relationship has more power and control. Peer support is also different from things like self-help groups, which tend to be more informal and can look a lot like friendship. Peer support falls somewhere in the middle. While there's less of a power difference and a deeper sense of connection between peers, there's still some structure and intention to the support provided. There are a lot of examples out there of peer support for adults, but there aren't as many examples of peer support for youth. No big deal, right? Not quite. Youth are not the same as adults, and the support they need and want looks different too. So, what's so different about youth? Adolescence is a critical time for development. It's a time when many young people are navigating major changes in their lives, such as family challenges, leaving high school, choosing or attending a college or university, getting a job, and starting a career, getting involved in more serious relationships, living independently, exploring sexuality and gender expression, and more. Approximately 1 in 5 Canadians experience a mental health or substance use problem each year, and 70% of mental health problems begin during childhood or adolescence. Suicide is also the second leading cause of death for young people aged 15 to 34, and it's estimated that almost 75% of children and youth with mental health disorders aren't getting the specialized help they need. While many young people don't get the formal treatment they need, research does show, however, that youth do tend to share their problem and concerns with their friends and peers. This means there's a huge window of opportunity to equip young people with the skills they need to support other young people. Enter youth peer support. In addition to helping navigate all those big life changes, youth peer support can go a long way towards supporting young people with their mental health and wellness. Youth peer support can help encourage youth to seek more formal help from mental health services and other providers. Finally, it can also help reduce the self-stigma that many young people experience, where they might feel there's something wrong with them, or that they're to blame for how they feel. Instead, when young people connect and find similarities with others, they often feel less alone. In short, youth peer support can provide young people with much needed encouragement and hope. So what makes a great youth peer supporter and a strong youth peer support relationship? We checked out the research and asked youth peer supporters what they think. Here are some of the key ingredients they mentioned. As a youth peer supporter, you should be mature and eager to help. You also need to be self-aware, which means you're tuned into your strengths, weaknesses, thoughts, and feelings. Between you and your peer, there needs to be a sense of shared identity or experience, or a sense that you've been through similar things. These connections can help build trust, understanding, and a sense of teamwork. Finally, peer support should focus on self-determination. This means that it's not your job to do things for your peer, like solving their problems. You're also not a therapist, counselor, or doctor. These people are expected to treat your peer. Instead, your peer should feel like they're in the driver's seat, in control of the process and their life. As a youth peer supporter, your role is to listen and offer guidance and support that's tailored to the person you're supporting and their circumstances. While it can be difficult at times, it's important to let your peer do things their own way and on their own timeline. Remember, everyone's journey is different and happens at a different pace, and that's okay.
Um, may I ask you if we can watch the next video?
Sorry, Camille, are we playing the next video?
Yes, please, and thank you.
Recovery is an important concept in peer support and mental health, but it can also sound very clinical. That's why in this series, we'll be referring to it as a wellness journey. Moving along a wellness journey is a process. It's about finding balance and a quality of life, and it looks different for everyone. A wellness journey doesn't focus only on mental health and illness. Rather, it can include anything from creating or maintaining positive relationships to involvement in the community and general well-being. When it comes to peer support, supporting your peer's wellness journey involves helping them get back on track or start a new chapter of their life. So what's a part of a wellness journey? Well, a wellness journey has 4 important components: hope, empowerment, responsibility, and meaning. Hope is the belief that things can and will get better. It's a great motivator. It helps to focus on goals your peer can achieve and things they can control. Empowerment means having the power to do things. It can happen by getting informed, having the opportunity to make choices and be in control, and focusing on strengths instead of weaknesses. Responsibility is about your peer taking responsibility for the things that are within their power. It may involve taking risks, trying new things, and learning from mistakes. It's also about letting go of feelings of blame, shame, anger, and disappointment that can be associated with bad experiences. Finding meaning means finding purpose. It's about finding what drives your peer and what brings them a sense of belonging. Meaning helps to conquer feelings of isolation, and it can boost your peers' sense of hope, empowerment, and responsibility. So, how can you support others in their journey to wellness? As a peer supporter, you first need to respect where your peer is at with their journey. You need to accept that their goals, values, beliefs, and chosen path may be different than yours. Try to create and explore options with your peer, rather than to provide direction. Focus on empowering them and having them take steps forward on their own. As you support your peer throughout their wellness journey, remember that they may be experiencing social isolation and feelings of loneliness. In fact, you may have experienced it yourself. We tend to experience social isolation when we don't have enough meaningful interactions with people, and we don't feel connected with others. Loneliness, on the other hand, is what we feel when our social connections are not what we need or want. Loneliness isn't a stable thing. It varies throughout our life. For example, we often put a lot of value on friendships and romantic relationships when we're teenagers and young adults, so we may experience more loneliness at that time if we don't have those strong relationships. While we often experience both social isolation and loneliness at the same time, we can also feel lonely without being socially isolated, and vice versa. Part of your role as peer support is to address the loneliness and isolation your peer may be experiencing. Encourage them to connect or reconnect with their communities, and help them throughout that process. This can include their family, friends, neighborhood, school, cultural community, or even an online community. On top of addressing isolation and loneliness, this will give your peer a network of support to help them deal with stress. And remember, if your peer's feeling of loneliness don't seem to go away, or if they affect their day-to-day life, discuss with them how agencies and professionals in your community can also help with their journey to wellness. Thanks for watching.
I hope you were all able to hear and absorb as much information as we are not going to test you on this. However, as mentioned before, we'll have just a small discussion to share with each other our experiences. So this part is called the open space technology or the open space. For the next 10 minutes, we are going to work in a safe space where we can discuss and reflect the content of these videos. The rules are that anyone can participate. You can share your answers and perspectives through the chat or speaking through your microphone. This is a safer and brave space, like Haruka has mentioned earlier, which means that your lived experiences are valid, powerful, and respected. And when the conversation is over, it is over. The first set of questions will be based on Youth Peer Support 101. And the first one is, what are three things you learned about peer
If you'd like to share it by turning on your mic too, you are more than welcome to do so as well, or use chat.
That's actually perfect. Yes, more often we hear peer support and receiving clinical care as something similar, but they're quite different, as you have seen on these videos, and how these two really can help a person in unique ways. Mainly, youth peer supporters or peer support can support them or really provide them access for navigation of the services that are out there and connect them with the community. Meanwhile, clinical support and care. Uh, that's a really good point. Thank you. Anybody else would like to jump in and just answer one of these questions that is wonderful?
No, like any of the questions that's on this.
Answering the questions myself. They can answer one or two or three or four. Um, right now. Also, that we do have a little bit of time that we can move on into the next set of questions too. Chat, yes, there is a certain level of responsibility and self-awareness as we move along with these learning sessions. You will start noticing that there is really areas in which we need to focus as there is communication pieces, there is working across differences, and then understanding our intersectionality and how this may be different from other people's experiences that we are supporting along the way in their mental health and wellness journey. And I see Raccoon says, I think people sometimes prefer to talk to a peer support or a peer because it feels more comfortable to talk to someone who gets it and also may feel uncomfortable sharing some things with professionals. Yes, more often whenever young people, and this is also has been my experience in the past, that I will keep things um, I used to keep things that I would not tell my professional because I was fearing that I was going to be judged or may find off because of my concerns. But later on, through a peer supporter, I understand that also professionals are there to understand those pieces too. But I totally agree. More often, we have that fear that professionals will judge us or will make fun, and which is not the case. They're there to support us, right? Um, there is also the personal boundaries and knowing how to take care of your own mental health during and after feels important to it really does. And at some point during these sessions, will be learning about self-care tips and how to take care of our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual self while we are supporting a peer in their wellness journey. This is awesome. So I'm just mindful of the time and we can move on to the next set of questions to you. Supporting your peers' journey, and this is the second video that we watched. So sharing identities and experiences with your peer helps to develop a connection and a strong relationship, as we noticed. Let's encourage, reflect on our own experiences and wellness journey. Think of a safe time that you need a support from somebody. This can be a school, a volunteer person, a person navigating services. This could be yourself understanding services or trying to talk to. Please try to think of that moment that you needed help, but you were supported. We want to avoid precarious trauma or secondary trauma through these psychoeducational sessions, and we want to ensure this is a safer space for everyone. Now, let's focus on what help you overcome that something. This is something personal. You don't need to share it with everybody. This is a whole learning journey for us right here today. So write down some of the things that people and supports, some of the people and supports that help you. Do you turn to a friend? Do you turn to your spiritual leader? Do you turn to a mentor or an adult ally or a community member? Do you turn to a family support? Who was that person that helped you at the moment that you needed that help? And I will just give you like a few or maybe 1 minute. Sorry. And as you're discovering this, think about what experience, from that experience, what components of wellness journey do you recognize? What parts of it did you find that there were hope embedded on that support, that you were empowered, that was that there was a sense of responsibility for your own and from the person supporting you, and as well that you found meaning through that support, even if it was um, a support through school or an exam or a presentation. Did any of these components were present during that support? Or just one or all of them four? That will be wonderful. Um, and as you identify this, um, you can start thinking of many ways that you can support yourself and others while they are in need of help. Whether it is again through school, through volunteer, navigating services, understanding those services themselves, or also navigating. I thought somebody.
No, I was just going to add that this is really neat in that I feel like as youth supporting peers or other family members, we don't really have the time to reflect on support and what that looks like, and in breaking down what support means to us and what we took away from it, I think is really important because I think we just receive support but not really think much further about what that actually means. And I think having this understanding of what support means to us, it might feel different too down the line when we're supporting others or receiving support. I think one word that I took away, number three, was for me perspective. I think it's very easy to get lost in your own thoughts sometimes and you're just kind of dealing with it in your own bubble, but hearing from others and from their perspective provides all the different things that are
More often, when we're stuck in something, there's always that innuendo, and in different cultures too. Experience and as well as your reflection. Thank you, Haruka. To be mindful, M shared that um, she was just going to say one of her friends tend to help regain a sense of balance and hopefulness when she feels like she has lost in times of stress and uncertainty, and that's really great. Like having that sense of hope for the next hour, for the next half an hour, 30 minutes, next exam, the next hard time is really, really awesome, isn't it? And it's really important. And as Haruka says, whenever we're receiving this support, we don't get to recognize this. We just feel energized. We just feel that we are getting to where we need it with that person's help, right? Um, so this is totally amazing, and I'm mindful of your time too. So thank you everybody for joining us. Please feel free to reach out if you need help, as there is the boxes right here, and the lines as well, the links for you to access if you need help. Let me know. Find me on Twitter or like my email if you have any questions. And next week we're gonna talk
Thank you
about
so much, Camille,
communication
and thank you for
considerations
all of you
and
for
sharing
joining
your
our first
story
session
while
for the
you're
pillars of
supporting
youth
people.
peer support today. I think it was a fantastic introduction to peer support, and I really much look forward to the upcoming sessions every Thursday for the next 4 weeks. This session will be recorded and will be posted on our website, so feel free to go back and watch it again if you like to watch any of the videos. Also, the videos are available on YouTube through the Center of Excellence account as well, so we'll share that in the resource page too.